Okay, unfortunately, I have to do this entire video as a voiceover because the video completely had no audio. I don't know what happened. It's a new mic setup and it totally didn't work. Anyway, the idea is I'm testing the total dissolved solids in the water in my house. I have well water. So this is the initial test. I have a total dissolved solid meter and I'm taking the water before it goes into the water softener, straight from the well. So this is before the holding tank. And what I'm going to do is measure it with this total dissolved solids gauge that I have. It's pretty accurate because I have a pool and I've done it the other way without the gauge. And I have a test kit and it works actually very well. So, I mean, it's not perfect. It's not calibrated. This is not a total scientific study, but it's good enough for this neighborhood. Anyway, so from my poor camera work, you could see the total dissolved solids in there are about 304 parts per million, I guess it is. So the water coming right out of my well is 304 parts per million. Now the idea is I have an ice maker, and total dissolved solids kills any kind of ice maker. You get a lot of just precipitation, and it breaks it. So the idea was to get as little total dissolved solids as possible. So the water comes out of the well, goes through this whole house aquapure filter, and after that it goes into water softener. And the water softener actually puts sodium and I'm not sure about potassium, but it puts some salt into the water to reduce the hardness. All right. So the real water that we're actually drinking, which would go into the ice maker if I didn't have a filter, is actually this water. Okay. And the measurement, and I'm sorry, this is a lot of talking. This is kind of hard to do. I feel like a DJ, a bad DJ. But anyway, the total dissolved solids in the actual water we're drinking is about 342. You can see from this, which is pretty high. I mean, the back has a gauge. Under 400 is acceptable, but that's still extremely high. 342, or whatever it is, 321. It's fairly high. It's in the mid 300s. Okay, so now 350. So you see, it's not the most accurate thing in the world, but it's 350 give or take. So now I take some Poland spring water, also just to see the total dissolved solids in the Poland spring, if we were going to make ice out of that. So we measure this out. I'll try not to talk for a second. And the total dissolved solids in that is about 39 parts per million. I actually bought it. I have an Osmo Pocket I've filmed this on, and I bought the audio adapter, and the audio didn't come out. On all these clips, it's completely flat. So anyway, that's why I'm doing it like this. But the total dissolved solids in Poland Spring is about 39 to 40, give or take. There it is 40. Okay, so for the ice maker that we installed, an under-counter ice maker, I actually put a reverse osmosis filter. Okay, it's an RO filter. It's a 5-stage. It's ROES 75. I think that means it'll make 75 gallons per 24 hours. And there's quite a bit of wastewater with this, but I have, like I said, a well, so it doesn't really matter. So we go out of that filter into a dedicated ice maker filter. The commercial ice maker filter that we have is made by Everpure. It's Ensure Ice, and it's the i2 commercial ice maker filter. And there's some water that I took out from after both of those, the RO filter and the Ensure Ice filter. And the parts per million, as you can see, and this is the final thing here, this is what goes right into my ice maker, is about 15 parts per million. So you can see versus even the Poland Spring, which was 40, you have somewhere in the neighborhood of 15. I think on the second try, it was 14. So the reverse osmosis plus the everpure is way better than the 350 parts per million that I had coming out of my faucet. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I apologize for the audio on this. Have a good one.